2 minutes till broadcast. One minute till broadcast. Thirty seconds till broadcast. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Fighting for freedom every day.
Let me tell you, the response to the show has been absolutely amazing. People can't believe that a young conservative millennial continues to fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and talks about issues that some are even afraid to talk about. But we do it because we understand the importance of this. And now we're seeing it absolutely blow up all across the nation.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, welcome into the Voice of Reason. It is a Wednesday, halfway through the week, the pre-Friday, the post Monday, the greatest day of the entire week. We have a show lined up for you today. I'm so excited to jump right into it, as we are by far the fastest radio show in America, the fastest growing radio show in America, the fastest program, the fastest hour on radio, however you want to look at it. Welcome into the program. Broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship station, all over the country on radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, doesn't matter where you're at. We appreciate you hanging out with us today on the live streaming. We have Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, also on the website at HooserReason.com. You can find us on all those. Plus, yes, we do have the social media as well with Minds.com and on Parler. All of the social media, you can find us at Hooser Reason. Follow us, like us, say hi, call me a jerk. I don't really care, because we get called worse than that on a daily basis. We have a big show lined up for you today. Tomorrow is the second and final presidential debate before the election. We already have, what did they say? They have a massive amount of votes that have already come in the country all across the board. So here we are, 2020. So far, early votes, 41.5 million early votes that have already been cast. So we'll talk about that here in just a minute as well. But I don't want to waste any time. I'm excited. I want to get right to this guy. I've been a big fan of his for a while, and he's, of course, a very controversial figure. According to the mainstream left-wing media, he's a very controversial guy. I see it as a guy who just wants to make America great and actually try and, stop criminals from doing criminal things. He is the author of the latest book, An American Legend, the fascinating and untold true life story of America's most beloved crime fighter. He is known as the toughest sheriff in America. I'm excited and honored to have on the program Sheriff Joe Arpaio with us here. Sheriff, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I got the book. Thank you for bringing that up, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, An American Legend, where you can go to Amazon. Okay, I put my plug in. I'll tell you why I wrote the book, because I can't get the media to really tell the truth of what I've been through on the birth certificate, Obama, the federal system, and Obama and Holder going after me. So everything's in the book, and I'll tell you what, I've been around 88 years, 58 in law enforcement around the world.
Wow.
And I'll tell you, everything in that book I can back up with documentation, reports, very careful. So that's it, and exciting.
Yeah.
Looking forward to people reading it, and we'll see what happens.
It's very exciting, and with over 50 years of law enforcement under your belt, I can only imagine the experiences that you've had, the things that you've seen, and just witnessing the world, and I think in a light that a lot of people don't understand in the world. When it comes to law enforcement, I mean, you started off with the military, you started off with the law enforcement, even going into the narcotics on the border. I mean, you were in Arizona, which I want to get to here in a second as well. But, I mean, the experiences that you've seen trying to battle these things in America, do you think it's gotten better or worse over the years as we continue to battle crime coming over our borders?
Well, boy, I was a regional director in Mexico and South America, Texas, Arizona. In those days, to be honest with you, my main mission, because I worked for the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, was to catch dope peddlers. I don't even know if I remember how to spell illegal aliens. But years later, when I became sheriff, and I was sheriff for 24 years, I saw a different light. But you know what? I still go back to when I worked in Mexico and all those areas. I was just locking up dope peddlers instead of illegals, but I understand the culture. And in Turkey, I was the head of the DEA, Turkey, Syria. The reason I bring this up, because I know you're going to get to it, with the riots and people burning buildings down and cops just standing by, watching. No, I worked in those foreign countries. I know how they feel and what they think about our great country. How do you think they're looking at us now? We have cops can't even arrest some looters and all these problems with all the might that we have, and we just stand by. How do you think they feel? How they look at it? That's the way I look at the big picture. It's just not the localized picture. So it's sad what they're doing. Cops are thrown under the bus. All these video cameras. Anybody takes a video camera, it looks bad for the cops, the mayor, the city council. First thing they do is drop a dime. Well, it's not a dime anymore. It shows you how old I am. Call the Justice Department. Come on down and investigate. Or they just do make conversations, how bad the cops are. They don't even give them a chance to defend themselves, whether it's in court. A lot of them get charged, or through the internal affairs system. So that's sad, what's going on. I don't blame the cops. I'll tell you why. They have to take their orders from the city manager, the mayor, the governor, or they'll be fired or charged with insubordination. Yeah. It's the system, the political system, all geared to get rid of our great president, who in July 2015 was one of the few that would get up on a stage. I introduced him. I said three things. Silent majority is out there, still is. You were born on the same day as me, Flag Day. You are going to be our next president. He was. And so that's my hero. When they asked me, NBC, is John McCain your hero? I think it was last year. I paused and I said, which is the truth, because 4 months before I woke up and I finally found my hero. Yeah. And I told them, that's our president.
It's
He's
amazing.
My hero. That made news everywhere. I'm not a flip-flopper. I'm with him to the bitter end, but it won't be bitter. It'll be sweet, because he's going to win again, and he's going to continue to protect our country and do some great things, even more so than he's already done. That's my prediction. I predicted he was going to be elected. He was. I'm predicting he's going to be reelected, and I'm predicting he will go down in history as one of the greatest presidents we ever had. I'll tell you one thing, he's the hardest working president we ever had, and I was the honorary chairman for George W. Bush, for Mitt Romney, for Rick Perry, They all wanted my endorsement. Of course, I don't hear from them anymore. I can't do nothing for them. Oh, you're laughing. That's the truth.
Well, it's true. I mean, after Donald Trump got in there, I mean, just about everybody that associated with Donald Trump got cast aside, even if you're a Republican or conservative or you worked with them before. They don't want anything to do with you anymore.
Isn't that sad?
It is.
Because you know what? For all those CEOs out there with big businesses and they're in charge, do you think they're going to keep an employee that badmouths them or ruin their product? Well, the president happens to be a CEO.
Yeah.
Same concept. So why would his employees, you know, the high-level ones, they keep bad-mouthing him, turn on him? He should be able to fire all of them. If they don't like working for their boss, they ought to quit and go somewhere else. You got these generals. I think there's a couple still on the job. You're not supposed to talk about the commander-in-chief, and you should carry that out even in private. You sure they're receiving a pension? They don't mind the big retirement they get.
Sure.
And so why are they bad-mouthing the president even though they're not there anymore? It's sad. Really sad what they're doing.
It is. It's very sad. We're talking with Sheriff Joe Arpaio, author of the book An American Legend. I want to ask you, this is something I've always been fascinated by, and I want to ask you this, and we got about 3 minutes or so here before we have to let you go, but the tent city that you created down in Arizona, I thought was one of the most magnificent ideas that I've heard about law enforcement with individuals that have been incarcerated to try and get them to work or get out and about. Where did you come up with this idea, and in your eyes, was it a success?
Well, very simple. I'm not a magician here. When I joined the Army when the Korean War broke out, I would live in tents. Years later, I became the sheriff. I said, let's put tents up. We had a little overcrowding. I got about 50 tents free of charge. I had to go to New Mexico to get them. And I put them up. And I kept building the tent city. 2,000 people, all convicted, lived there. And when they go after me, all the media from around the world, that I killed people in the tent city, on and on and on. You know what I tell everybody? Hey, our men and women are fighting for our country. They're living in tents. Yeah. So shut your mouth and quit complaining about convicted people living in the tents. Then they all do shut their mouth. But boy, they've been after me, everybody, for years and years. So I'm very proud of the tents. They're gone now, the guy that beat me in 2016, a Democrat, because George Soros gave him $3 million. And the judges went after me and Obama, and they said they're going to charge me with contempt of court, same as a barking dog. Mm-hmm. And they did, one day before the election. Now they're complaining about Biden's son. Oh, we don't want to do it right at the election. Well, what about me? They did it the day before they voted. So, you know, it's very sad what's going on right now. It's all geared to get rid of the president, I guarantee you.
It is extremely sad. When we talk about the civil unrest real quickly, if President Trump does get reelected, which I agree with you, I believe that he will get reelected, do you think the civil unrest is going to go away, or do you think they're going to try and ramp it up?
Well, you know what? No matter what, President has a lot of federal agents under him. I was one of them. And just send those federal agents in those areas. And if you think you don't have the jurisdiction, send in the narcotic agents, sending the gun, everybody enforcing all that federal law. You think that they're not going to find some violators of the federal law in those areas? Of course you are. So if governors want to complain, hey, tell them we're enforcing the federal law. And I'll tell you one thing, these mayors don't like it, and they try to interfere with federal agents. They ought to be locked up. There's a law against that, too.
Yeah. No, that's very true. We got just about a minute left before we have to let you go, my friend. But the state of Arizona that you're in has been very moderate, per se, I think, for a lot of years, and we've lost a lot of conservatism. In this election coming up in a couple of weeks, do you think Arizona's going to be able to pull back to Donald Trump and start shifting again, or is it going to stay in that middle purple wave for a while?
Well, I still think he's going to carry the state on for one reason only. There's a silent majority everywhere I go, and especially the women. I'm not tall, dark, and handsome, but they come up to me, and guess what? 95% say they love Donald Trump. So I don't know where they're getting all this stuff that the women don't like him, nobody likes him. That's a silent majority, I said, in July 2015. It's still there.
Yeah. I love it. It's Sheriff Joe Arpaio, an American legend, the fascinating and untold true life story of America's most beloved crime fighter. He is the toughest sheriff in America, and he is really our Superman. There it is, Sheriff. It's a great honor to talk to you, my friend. As I said, I've been a big fan of yours for a long time. We'd love to get you back on the show again sometime.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Anytime. Thank you.
Hey, always a pleasure right there. That Sheriff Joe Arpaio, we appreciate that very much. How cool is that? We got to take a break. When we come back, I want to shift gears a little bit. I want to recap what we've talked about here, and I found some goodies as I've been seeing kind of the social media float around and on some of the comments where we can put some of the show on other sites as well. So we'll talk about that here in just a second, but got to take a break. That was Sheriff Joe Arpaio. We appreciate his time very, very much. How cool is that? Right here on The Voice of Reason. That's the way you kick off a show. That's what I'm talking about. And did you hear anything on there about racism? No. That's what they attack him on, though, because, right, I mean, you try and stop people that are trying to transport people and guns and drugs across the borders, and you arrest them, and you're all of a sudden a racist. It's crazy how they go after him like that. Gotta go say it.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Missed part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station. We're here for you. Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on The Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with The Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Welcome back into the show. Thanks for hanging out with us today on a Wednesday. Appreciate it very much. Thanks again to Sheriff Joe Arpaio coming on the program. That was pretty cool. I wish we had more time. I could have gone an hour with him. Obviously, he likes to talk about a lot of this stuff, and I wish we had more time to discuss a lot of it. I wanted to ask him more about the tent city. I had a couple comments come in, too, about asking him about what it costs to feed an inmate versus guard dogs. He has a great response. He does. He has a lot of really catchy comments that he talks about with some of these stories. And it's one of those guys where he has so many stories to tell. He's lived such an eccentric life, per se, that you could sit there and just listen to him. I mean, back in the day, that's what they used to do, right? The elders used to sit there and tell the stories about the world and their experiences and life lessons and things to learn from and so on and so forth. And you could just sit back and just listen for hours. And I would love to just sit there and smoke a cigar and sip on a glass of scotch with this guy and just listen to his stories for hours. It'd be fascinating. Absolutely love something. Maybe we could work something out. Who knows? We could get something. But I appreciate him coming on the program. And it really does show the change in times, doesn't it? I don't know if anybody remembers this. Obviously not our generations. But all the way back when things like used to be really tough and we did the Western expansion and we were trying to be the gold diggers moving west to California and trying to do the homesteading here in the central part of the nation, that times were rough. Things were rough. And you actually lived in a tent and you would travel on horseback and you would ride and then you would stop and you would sleep in a tent. And the media, of course, attacked Joe Arpaio for making inmates actually sleep in tents and going out and working all day in the 120-degree Arizona heat. Oh, my! Such a terrible thing. I'm having to work outside all that time. Now, construction workers work out there all day long. And, 100 years ago when we were riding horses out there and we were homesteading and we were trying to work outside, you didn't have any air-conditioned buildings you got to go in. You went out there. And by the way, people lived in Arizona at that time, too. But, of course, he's inhumane for making people work outside and sleep in a tent and work in the 120-degree weather. When did we become way too oversensitive? When did we become way too oversensitive to where making people work outside and sleep outside was inhumane? Isn't that side of the aisle like the all-natural, living outside, hugging the trees and smelling the grass or eating grass, I guess, in your tea? People are weird like that. I swear, I've seen it. What was that company? There's a lot of companies now that do it, like the smoothies and everything, but they actually put grass, like you could pick it outside and put it in the blender and blend it up, and they put the grass in there because it's healthy for you. Okay. So that's okay, but you can't go sleep outside because it's really, really hot. Give me a break. So we appreciate what he's done, and we appreciate him for his service that he's given from the military all the way to fighting narcotics, all the way to running the largest sheriff's office in the nation at one time with, what was it, like over 3,500 people under him as a sheriff in Arizona. Absolutely phenomenal. So we appreciate everything that he's done. We'll try and get him back on the show again at some point real soon. So far, 41.5 million people have done early voting, including 29.6 million mail-in ballots that have been returned across the nation, and in-person voting that's almost at 12 million now. And the big states that have seen a massive turnout so far has been Texas with 5.3 million votes coming in early, California at 4.5 million votes coming in early, Florida at 3.6 million coming in so far, Ohio at 1.3, Michigan at 1.8, Wisconsin at 1 million. We're going all over the place here across the country when it comes to early voting. Now, they say overwhelmingly these are Democrats that are voting early, which we talked about yesterday. Yes, they are early voters on the Democrat side because they're terrified of actually showing up on Election Day, and the media loving the fact that, look at that, Democrats have an early lead. All across the nation, Democrats have an early lead because they're the ones out voting early. True. Just wait till Election Day. I guess this is kind of nice because we can kind of judge on how many are going to turn out, and then it's like a game to where it's the reality TV show, it's the game show where you know the number you have to beat, you know the score you have to beat, and you can surpass that on election day because they're not going to show up on election day. They're doing it all early. All we got to do is show up, and we can see our numbers, overbeat them. We'll be the underdogs coming back at the end of the game. It's going to be fun to watch. We'll talk about more of that when we come back here on The Voice of Reason for a Wednesday. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
The Hooser Media Network is way more than just the voice of reason. It's your source to find numerous different online talk shows, podcasts, TV, and radio programs, all in one simple online location for you. From political talk to health talk to whatever you may be interested in, we're here for you. And I tell you, it's growing every day. Catch Tracy Maxfield with her podcast, Engage, Educate, and Empower, discussing mental health issues in children and teenagers. From bullying, teenage suicide, addiction, ADHD, and so much more, learn from Tracy and her guests about symptoms, signs, and ways to talk to your children, plus so much more. Having battled depression, being the author of the internationally acclaimed book, Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and being a retired nurse, Tracy is kind of the go-to on the subject. Make sure to find her on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, along with her website at tracymaxfield.com. Also, make sure to tune into the weekly podcast, Jump, Pivot, and Roll with Shannon Stiles and Rachel Murphy. Taking that next big leap of faith is hard. Trying to write a book, maybe struggling with a relationship, looking to take that next big career step. What's stopping you? There's a lot of big questions there, and they're questions that Rachel and Shannon want to help with you each and every week. It's Jump, Pivot, and Roll on any of your favorite podcasting sites and on Facebook and YouTube. All of these shows and a heck of a lot more can be found on the Hooser Media Network Facebook and YouTube channels. Make sure to follow and subscribe to check them out today. Follow all the shows, and if you have any inquiries, check us out at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with The Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com. Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with The Voice of Reason. And I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network.
When Reason Meets Radio. You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
You learn something new every day. That's what the world's all about, right? You learn something new every single day. Welcome back into the show. It's the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live, radio, TV, live streaming, podcasting, however you may be watching or listening to the program. We appreciate it very much. We are on. So over the last couple breaks, thanks to a couple of our listeners, listener Shane, he said, wait a second. You can actually put YouTube videos on Parler, and it actually plays on Parler. It's not like it links you back to YouTube, which is a pain, and we don't like that very much, so I never just really do it. But on Parler, the new conservative kind of social media site, Parler, P-A-L-E-R, Parlay, the French is a parlay. The Parler site, you can go there, you can find us at Hooser Reason. So we now have the live video up on Parler as well, and you can watch us on there if you're on there at Hooser Reason. Also on Minds, I figured why the heck not? If I'm going to try that one, might as well try this one too. On Minds.com, if you have Minds as well, M-I-N-D-S, Minds, like a mind, plural, because we have multiple minds. See how that works? That's a joke right there. You can go on there. We also posted it live on there too, so you can click on it. You can watch it right off of Minds.com. So we are on all of our platforms now, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, on Parler, and on Minds, and on the website at HooserReason.com. So there's literally no reason, no matter what social media site you like to use, that you can't find the show, which means now we're just going to grow even more so. So that's awesome. We appreciate it very much. So thank you, listener Shane, for finding that one and letting me know. I had no idea, but I didn't even try. So I guess I kind of halvesied it and just figured, it's not going to work because it doesn't work on Facebook, like sharing the YouTube link, and it doesn't share it like that on Twitter either, but they actually have their own platforms that actually stream it out. So we're on any of those. Doesn't matter where you're watching. If you're not on social media because you don't do the social media thing, then I get it. It's okay. Don't worry about it. And you can still listen to us on radio and on TV as well, wherever you may be. So we appreciate you hanging out with us today on a Wednesday. Let's get into what's trending today.
What's trending today?
Oh, the hypocrisy of the left side of the aisle. You know that you're close to hitting something really important, to hitting their buttons, to pushing their emotions, to really triggering them when they go out on the full assault against you. You know that you're close. When you start backing them into a corner, they're like a wild rabid beast or an angry preteen kid, whichever one you want to look at. Though both of them are relatively dangerous. I know, I have a 6-year-old. See, that's a joke again. If the left is a little slow on picking up sarcasm. No matter which way you want to look at it, when you start seeing attacks come out against you, then you know that you're relatively close on actually picking apart one of their points or attacking them on something substantial that they don't like or calling them out on something they don't want you to call them out on. So they start doing the personal attacks and trying to slander you to make sure that you're not relevant in the discussion anymore. Show of hands. Anybody happen to it happens to just about everybody now on the right side of the aisle. When you're debating with someone, you're sitting across the bar or sitting across the restaurant and you're chatting and you're like, hey, I like Donald Trump. They're like, oh my gosh, how dare you do something like that? So then you say, all right, well, I want to build the wall. You're a racist. No, I just don't want human trafficking or drugs or as many guns illegally coming across our borders as what's coming across. That's not true. You're just a racist. So they go after you to try and deny it. Because if they can legitimately question your credibility, then all of a sudden you're irrelevant in the conversation. So the only conversation left is theirs. And whether they have a good point or a bad point, it doesn't matter. It's justified because you don't have one, because you're delegitimized and you're not in the conversation any longer. That's their mindset. And it's sad because I actually like debate. I actually like talking on the other side of the aisle. I like to confront and question. That's what we do. They always say, think outside the box, man. Question everything. Okay, let's question everything. And let's come to our own conclusions. But when you do that nowadays, you can't, because you're just supposed to fall in line and not think about it. But they told you, so therefore it must be true. Wikipedia told you something, so therefore it must be fact. Yeah. So, anyways, with all of that, the personal attacks trying to diminish your reputation because you don't like being attacked, a.k.a. a Democrat. I don't know if you've seen the latest news with Rudy Giuliani now being under scrutiny from the media for a compromising scene in a new Borat film. Now, come on, let's be honest. Does anybody out and honestly watch Borat anymore? Drives me nuts. I'm not a fan of Sacha Cohen Baron. Just not a fan. I think it's dumb. I think sometimes you can try and catch people up to do dumb things, but then to point and see like, oh, look how terrible a human being they are. Now, timing-wise, this is very fascinating to me. As Borat's coming out and as they try and catch up Rudy Giuliani in a Borat film to make him look foolish, is the exact same time that Rudy Giuliani's coming out with a hard drive on Hunter Biden for illegal activity, for being with illegal individuals in Russia, for setting up meetings with the Vice President Joe Biden then, with smoking crack, allegedly, on the videos. And now, according to a news source with One American News Network, they've come out and said that they've actually seen the hard drive and seen the laptop themselves. They've seen illegal activity on the laptop that include multiple minor children, where apparently and allegedly, I think, they've turned these pictures over and part of the hard drive over to law enforcement in Delaware because there was not just one, but multiple minors in not so good positions and not so good photos with Hunter Biden on this hard drive, and now they've turned it over to the Delaware police. I don't know whether that's true or not. That's what I've heard over multiple media sources, but we can't confirm anything now because apparently it doesn't happen unless it's on social media and unless it's on the mainstream media. That's the way they've kind of set the world now. It ain't true unless it's on social media. Are you in a relationship? No, you're not, because social media and Facebook didn't tell you you are, and you didn't click that box, say, I'm in a relationship. Did Hunter Biden really smoke crack with individuals in Russia? Well, it's not true because social media blocking it, not saying it's true, and the mainstream media won't talk about it. So it must not have happened. That's the world we live in today. So while Rudy Giuliani is in possession of this hard drive, and he says he almost sleeps with it at night because he's so paranoid about someone trying to get it, and he's working so late at night anyways, and now we see One American News Network turning over photos to the Delaware Police Office because they want to investigate these photos where they're pretty darn certain that they're U.S. citizen minor children that are involved in these photos. Everything's starting to implode for the Bidens. They've kind of backed off a little bit. They're not doing any public events anymore. And in fact, they're changing their tone on their campaign as well, which we'll get to in a second. But at the same time, all of this is going on. So what happens? Now it's all over Drudge. Now it's all over the social media. Now it's all over the news networks, is that Rudy Giuliani got an caught by Sacha Cohen Baron with Borat in a compromising scene to where apparently he was taken up into a hotel room with what he thought was a young Russian gal to have a few drinks in her private hotel room. The reputation of Rudy Giuliani could be set for a further blow with the release of the highly embarrassing footage of Sacha Baron Cohen following up to Borat. According to TheGuardian.com, in the film released on Friday, the former New York mayor and current personal attorney of Donald Trump is seen reaching into his trousers and apparently touching himself while reclining on a bed in the presence of an actor playing Borat's daughter, who is posing as a TV journalist. Following the interview for a fake conservative news program, the pair retreat to her suggestion for a drink in the bedroom of her hotel suite, which is rigged with concealed cameras. After she removes his microphone, Giuliani can be seen lying back on the bed, fiddling with his untucked shirt and reaching into his trousers. He then is interrupted by Borat, who runs in and says, "She's 15. She's too old for you." Representatives for Giuliani have not replied to the Guardian's request for comment. Word of the incident first emerged back on July 7th when Giuliani called New York police to report the intrusion of an unusually dressed man. Quote, "This guy comes running in wearing a crazy, what I'd say is a pink transgender outfit. It was a pink bikini with the lace underneath and a translucent mesh top. It looked absurd. He had the beard, bare legs, and wasn't what I would call distractingly attractive. The person came in yelling and screaming, and I thought this must be a scam or a shakedown, so I reported it to the police, and then he ran away. I only later realized it must have been Sacha Baron Cohen. I thought about all the people he had previously fooled, and I felt good about myself because he didn't get me." Those are the quotes from Rudy Giuliani, apparently when he was going into these. Okay, so all of this is coming out now. Why? This was back in July. Apparently he's making the movie now, so they released it, but interesting times, right? While Rudy Giuliani is going after Hunter Biden for legitimate illegal activity, they try to catch him up on an aha for laying on a bed and doing something that may or may not be compromising to him with a young, quote-unquote, journalist for a conservative news TV source. Now, first off, I guess you can talk about his actions in that. Is it justified? I don't know what he was doing. I don't know the full thing. All I see is a picture, and that's about it. If he was being compromised, then you know what? That's a fault on him. Guess you can go as far as that, but it's really ironic how this all comes out at the exact same time that we're talking about someone who's been in political office and used the government for their own personal gain by getting millions of dollars from China, millions of dollars from the Ukraine, by his son, Hunter Biden, illegally working for an energy company in Ukraine in order to set all of this up. And it's about to implode the Biden administration, quote unquote, the Biden campaign going into election season. And all of a sudden, whatever he says isn't true because he was compromised by Sacha Baron Cohen. Therefore, all of his investigative work that he's working on should be delegitimized. It shouldn't be counted because he went up to a hotel room with a fake reporter and got busted by Borat. Does that make any sense to anybody? Now, did he get busted? Did he not get busted? I don't know. Apparently, he laughed it off and, I didn't get caught by Barron. I remember him kind of pulling some strings and doing some crazy stuff before. So he says nothing happened. He hasn't responded on these allegations now. But really? Talk about distractions. And if that's such a big issue about going up to a hotel room with a girl, as a married man, obviously that's not right in any way, shape, or form. But if that's their big issue, come on. Can we say hypocrisy just a little bit? Just a little bit? The Clintons? Just to throw one out there. The Clintons? Multiple times. Epstein's plane, that whole thing. I don't know. Maybe there's a little bit of hypocrisy here, but it's ordered to distract individuals and not pay attention to the real stories. And it's just convenient how it comes out right before the election and right as this investigation's about to really explode nationwide. We should discredit Rudy Giuliani so no one pays attention to him. I find that quite fascinating. Got to take a break. One more segment coming up here. When we come back, the unifying message Joe Biden's trying to portray in his campaign. Will it work, and how is he doing it? We'll do that here on the show when we come back. Stay here.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. While you listen to the delightful broadcast of The Voice of Reason, don't forget to check us out and follow us on all of our social media sites. Whether you're using Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Minds.com, or Instagram, we're there for you. Find us at Hooser Reason on any of your social media platforms. You'll see special commentary, links to the articles and news that we use on the show, and videos of the broadcast. Plus, you can directly send us a message on social media during the show to let me know your thoughts. Many already do, and it's a great chat room for all of our great listeners. And you can always sign up for the Patreon site to get exclusive content, maybe hear show products before we air them on the radio, and a lot more. And when you support us on Patreon, you also help the show be able to fight for conservative values each and every day. So it's a win-win. Just find us at Hooser Reason on all of your social media platforms, or you can find a link to all of our social media sites on our website at HooserReason.com. We know you're on social media already, so bring some reason into your day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Miss part of the show? Don't worry about it. There's plenty of ways to catch the program, and here's how you can do it. First, make sure to tune in every day right here on your favorite radio station.
We're here for you.
Second, subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite sites. YouTube and iTunes, Spotify and Google Play, TuneIn, Podbean, and more. Have the show automatically downloaded to your favorite device. Last, visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can listen to the podcast, catch our special features, and more. It's the Voice of Reason on radio, TV, and online, helping you defend and preserve this great republic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com.
Oh, hi. You know, conservative messages now are more important than ever before. Election season, state legislative issues, and a rise in the radical left socialist progressive agenda. What we really need now more than ever before is knowledge and wisdom. That's where we come in. Hi, I'm Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. And I'm your voice for reasonable talk, conservative commentary, great guests and entertainment on radio, TV, and the internet. It's time to bring some common sense back into the discussion. National issues, state legislative issues, no matter where you may be, upcoming elections, and a heck of a lot more, we can bring traditional values, constitutional principles, and local activism back. And here's what you can do. First, follow us on all the social media platforms at Hooser Reason. You can watch the live stream of the show, leave comments, and even call into the program. Second, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on all of your audio devices, from iTunes and Spotify to Google Play and TuneIn. Make sure to subscribe to have every episode automatically downloaded so you don't miss a single episode. Third, make sure to visit our website at HooserReason.com. You can catch our monthly blog talking about deeper discussions, see who's coming on the program, plus you can sign up for our free monthly newsletter to catch the latest on the show, monthly topics, upcoming interviews, and more. It's time to be that local activist again. That's what the Voice of Reason's all about. Why? Because that's kind of the reasonable thing to do. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hooserholic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe through any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the program today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on any of your favorite podcasting sites and have the show automatically downloaded to your phone or computer every single day. Just find us on any podcasting site or go to HooserReason.podbean.com. And be sure to check out our Patreon site, become the ultimate Hooserholic, and help us fight for conservative values every day. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. Now back to the national broadcast of the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, you are. One more segment left. It goes by way too fast. Way too fast. Welcome back into the program. Wrapping up today on a Wednesday, the post Monday, the pre-Friday here on the show. And now that I'm aware that we can share the live video stream on Parler and on Minds.com, that's awesome. So they're going to be up there every day now as well, along with the Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, and the website at HooserReason.com. Doesn't matter where you watch or listen. We appreciate you very, very much. So where should we go for? Oh, yes. So I want to get to that in just a second if we have time, but let's go back to our mailbox. What do you say?
What's in the mailbox?
So for those that have been listening over the last week or so, we've been having a little fun as we received an email from a listener. And, well, I don't even know if he was a listener prior to. His friends were listeners, and he emailed me saying that he had lost a bet, supposed to shave his head, paint his head red, white, and blue with Trump all over it, and reached out, I guess as part of the bet, reaching out to the program here. And we read the email on the air, and we appreciate the reach out very much so. So we thought we'd have a little fun with setting up a bet ourselves going into the general election and see if he can redeem himself with the bet that he had to make and whether he actually needs to make this happen or not. And we've been emailing back and forth, working on the terms of this fun bet. So I have here a copy of, not the official one yet, but a copy of the contract, quote unquote, for our upcoming bet to have a little fun with. And we thought it'd be great to get him on the air as well to kind of seal the deal and make this official with us as well. So on the phone with us, we have listener Doug with us. Doug, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Andy, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am living the dream, brother. I appreciate it. First off, now, did you listen to the show prior to this, or is this a brand new thing to you?
This is pretty brand new to me, but I know, I'm a liberal guy, so I haven't listened before, but certainly I'll be listening going forward.
Very good. Well, I appreciate that. Now, I didn't even ask you before, and it's okay if you don't tell me, but the bet that you lost the first time that led you to do all of this, what was that bet? What did you lose?
You know, Andy, we've sort of disagreed. My buddies who are conservative Trump supporters and myself, I'm a liberal guy. I've never voted for a Republican. I'd made some predictions before, and they said it was all fake news. We kind of put it into a bet, and I ended up losing. I didn't think I would lose, but it kind of had revolved around a lot of the predictions from before about the whistleblower coming forward and the impeachment process, and I'd made some predictions about what would happen based on all that.
Interesting.
Including up through the presidential primary. So I lost that terribly.
Very interesting. All right, so now you've had to, and you haven't done it yet, but the bet was to shave your head, paint it red, white, and blue with Trump on it, and then reach out to the program. So it's an opportunity for you to redeem yourself with this bet. And obviously you have a lot more on the line at stake here than I do with this bet. But with yours, to continue all that, but you can waive it and disregard all of it with your predictions here, which you said that you think the Democrats will gain control of the U.S. Senate, and that Joe Biden will win the presidency and defeat President Donald Trump, and that the U.S. Senate will flip blue. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. And so if you win all, now you have to win all of those, and if you do, you get to wipe it away. And I have to do something, which is shaving my beard, shaving part of my head, and then painting Joe and Biden all over my head and forehead as well, which I think I'm up for this. So are we ready? Are we going to make this official here for the next couple weeks?
I'm ready to commit. I tell you, I just know the Senate seat's going to flip blue. The U.S. Senate's going to become Democratic controlled for the first time in a good while here. And I just have a feeling Biden's going to win the general election. And I don't want to piss off your listeners. I think it's going to be in more of a landslide.
Really?
Kind of a win here on election night.
What makes you think that? What gives you the confidence what gives you the confidence of Joe Biden winning in a landslide? Why do you think that?
You know, just all the momentum I see, and all the polls that I'm looking at, it just really looks like it's going that way and not tilting that way. It looks really definitive. I really feel by the end of election night, people talk, it's going to take several weeks to sort this out. I honestly feel like by the end of election night, we will have a clear winner, and it's going to be Biden.
By election night. All right. Well, I am signing the contract right now. I know that we have some revisions to make on it, but I'm signing it right now on the air. It's official, so we're going to have some fun. Doug, we'll get you back on the air, too, as we get closer to the election as well and have some fun and talk about the other side of the aisle, because I'd like to get your perspective on it from the Democrat side. But good luck to you, my friend. Let's have a little fun with this. What do you say?
I'm down for it, Andy.
Hey, that sounds great. Listener Doug right there, the official bet, it's on, and we're going to have a little fun with that, trying to lighten up politics just a little bit. We can talk about issues and not hate each other, and that's kind of a good thing in today's times, isn't it? That does it for us today. Back at it tomorrow. We have a laundry list of guests tomorrow and Friday. You're not going to want to miss it at all. Until then, podcast going up a little bit. Be your own voice of reason. It's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. It's the Voice of Reason. Everybody have a wonderful Wednesday evening. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left seems to find new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back, and we can help with that. Visit our website at HooserReason.com. There's some really great stuff for you. You can read the latest blog discussing topical issues and current events. Let us know your thoughts by filling out our monthly survey. Keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Listen to the podcast of your favorite guest or show, and check out our latest Voice of Reason product infomercials. Plus, you can find upcoming show schedules and guest lineups to plan your radio listening appropriately. And finally, make sure to become a Hoosier-holic by subscribing to the free newsletter. Stay up to date on the latest news of the show, fun facts of the month, and learn new ways to defend and preserve this great republic. It's all there at HooserReason.com. Again, HooserReason.com. Go check it out. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
I'm a rancher. I farm and raise cattle in the Flint Hills. I'm also a Republican and served as a state representative. That's where I met Barbara Bollier, a doctor and representative from the Kansas City area. All these attacks coming out of Washington about her simply are not true. Let me tell you about the kind of leader I know Barbara to be. For starters, she's never really been one for party labels. Felt like they did more harm than good. Fiscal responsibility has always been an important thing for Barbara.